Let's face it, life can be chaotic. Between deadlines, expectations, and the everyday hustle, it's easy to feel stuck in survival mode. But the truth is, you don't need a massive overhaul to regain control. Sometimes, the smallest shifts in mindset or routine can spark the biggest improvements. So here are 10 practical life tips, backed by experience and easy to apply, that can help you live with more clarity, purpose, and ease. Let's kick things off. If you want to use a hotel iron, iron a towel first before doing your clothes. My clothes have been stained on more than one occasion by a hotel iron that spit out rusty steam or dark gunk. I now run the hot iron over a sacrificial towel and only move on to my clothes when I'm confident that the steam is clean. If you find the iron with water already in it, make sure to drain it in the sink and then fill with fresh water before turning on. Also, make sure to hit the steam button numerous times as you're going over the towel. Sliding into number 2, policies and procedures are created by people and can be amended by people. When you have to make a request to a customer service or your employer, they might use "this is the policy" as an excuse to deny it. What that means is, they don't think your request warrants bypassing the policy procedure. Keep that in mind before giving up. Don't give up just because it's policy when you know your request is being unfairly denied. You could ask for an exemption. You can ask to get your request escalated to someone who could grant an exemption. If you have enough evidence to support it, you could even make a case that the policy and procedure is just BS and need to be amended. With your boss, a denial based on policy might be an evidence that he doesn't believe enough in your case to push further. I have gotten flight ticket refunds, product replacements, higher pay, and quicker resolution of issues by being persistent, polite, and patient. Please don't be an ass about it. Do it when you actually believe you have a case worth other people's extra effort. The third one is that stop itchy bites from itching with heat. I've seen a lot of people who don't know this trick, and it's saved me a lot of itchiness, so I figured I'd share. If you've got like a mosquito bite or leech bite, etc., and it's super itchy and won't stop, instead just trying to ignore it, run a metal spoon under hot water, hot as you can stand, then immediately press the back of the hot spoon on the itchy bite. The heat denatures the proteins that cause it to itch and gives you some relief without making it worse or risking infection by scratching. Here's another one you'll wish you started sooner. Always get a new car insurance quote before renewing. Every 6 months, I open a private tab and make a new quote on my car insurance site with the exact same information as my previous policy, except with a different email. I don't lie on my quotes, and after they run the reports on all drivers' vehicles, my price is always exactly the same as the quote price. I have had it change before, but only when I've missed adding data from the previous policy. I don't shop around, I'm making these quotes on my current insurance's site. I've been with the same insurance company the whole time. When I say the price is the exact same, I mean that after I decide to go with the new quote, and they run my driving history and all that, the anonymous quoted price does not change from what I am eventually charged. I'm comparing a new anonymous quote's price to my current policy's renewal price. I've moved states, so I've only done this 3 times so far, but each time I've gotten a cheaper price. The first time it was around, I'll be using pay in full prices, $150 cheaper. The second time was about $350 cheaper. The third time was $650 cheaper. Nothing's changed, and in just the last year, my policy is $1,000 cheaper, comparing what I paid 12 months ago to what I paid this time. Exact same coverage, same motor history, accident report, same everything. $1,000 cheaper. Insured drivers have a clean driving history the whole time. Cars have had no accidents. I always call my car insurance company once I've confirmed the quote price is cheaper. I explain I've made a new quote, give them my previous policy's renewal price, and tell them to make it happen. And they do. Every time I do it, I tell myself I just had a $HR phone call, adjusted per savings amount. Reaching the halfway mark, when things out of your control become stressful, take it as an opportunity to challenge yourself, change your perception, and practice coping techniques. Like if you're stopped at a stoplight and it turns green, and the person in front of you takes a bit before they get going. I I understand why that can be frustrating. It frustrates me. It's totally cool and totally normal to honk. What's funny is the light just as well might have stayed red a little bit longer and you would have thought nothing of it. I take these opportunities, like when waiting on something or dealing with an unforeseen consequence, to challenge myself to try and exercise patience or employ emotional regulation techniques and perhaps change my perception of the situation, particularly if they're out of my control. That's a good time to practice acceptance. You might change your perception and pretend you just arrived and haven't been waiting very long. Who knows? You might even be able to trick your brain when you're tired by pretending you just woke up instead of mulling over how you've been working all day. Perhaps then you'll get your second wind. At number 6, this one's about if you are moving to a place with a garage and you want to park your cars there, do it before the end of moving day. Using the garage as a temporary staging area ends up not being temporary at all. I'm sure many of you have experienced this or seen others like this. On moving day, there's always a bunch of items still in boxes, and a garage makes a great place to put those boxes while you wait to sort through everything. And then it becomes a great place to put the things you inevitably have to buy, assemble, repair, donate, recycle shortly after a move. And then a place for outdoor tools, equipment. And then you get the idea. A friend gave us this tip on our last move, and it worked great. We had both cars in the garage before the U-Haul was pulling out of the driveway. A couple weeks later, we had to temporarily evict one of the cars for lawn care equipment, and we arranged to buy a shed ASAP so things could get back to normal. 7th up, have a plan for a change in your energy level. People seem to have their own natural energy patterns throughout the day, week, or even month. You can be productive during low energy periods, but it often feels like swimming against the current. Your efficiency just isn't there. Once that slump passes, you're recharged and ready to dive back in, and you might wonder, what was the point of pushing so hard when there was nothing to show for it? When you sense a low energy phase approaching, keep a list of relaxed, low effort activities you've been meaning to try. Time to queue up that movie or dive into a new game. No guilt needed. The same applies in reverse. If you're feeling energized, it might not make sense to spend that time on passive activities. Tackle something challenging and use that momentum to make real progress. Almost there, the 8th advice is that if you want kids to stop doing a certain behavior, tell them what to do, not what not to do. It's like saying, don't look down when someone's walking across a beam. Suddenly, all they can think about is looking down. The brain fixates on the action, not the don't. So instead of, stop jumping on the couch, say, sit down on the couch, rather than, get off the road, which might make them think, cool, I'll climb that tree. Say, walk on the footpath. Can be applied to all facets of life, including work and personal adult relationships. Number 9 might sound simple, but its impact runs deep. Reduce decision fatigue by setting default meals or outfits for busy days. On days when you are busy or stressed, decision-making can drain you quickly. To save mental energy, set up default choices like always having a go-to breakfast, packed lunch, or outfit you wear on your busiest mornings. This keeps your mind free for more important tasks and cuts down stress. You can always choose something different if you feel like it, but the default removes the need to decide under pressure. And to close it out, here's a principle worth living by. If your teen has recently started driving, teach them how to change the tire safely. On the car, they will drive the most. I'm an older guy, but I've had to change flat tires on a road and even interstate highways at least a dozen times. Young drivers need to know how to find a safe way to pull off the road, plus every aspect of changing the tire, finding the spare, the jack, the wrench, and wheel chocks if you have them. Show them the jack points on the car, because newer cars will be damaged if you put a scissor jack in the wrong place. Loosen the lug nuts or lug bolts a little before jacking up the car. How to free frozen lug nuts. How to get the wheel off if it is stuck on. How to attach the tire, remove the jack, and then snug up the lugs. Every 2 years or so, loosen the lug nuts, bolts on all tires on all your cars, then retighten them. This is for two reasons. First, if the wheel has not been removed in a long time, the threads can be either rusted or micro-welded together, making it damn difficult to break the nut bolt loose. I have had to find a piece of pipe that slipped over the wrench handle, then repeatedly jump on it to break nuts loose. Second, if you take your car to a mechanic to have the tires rotated or to get new tires, these guys often use power tools to put the nut on, and they over-torque it, making it very hard to break loose with hand tools. Put a very large rubber mallet or a 3-foot-long, cleanly cut 404 in your trunk. Most cars that use lug bolts instead of lug nuts have a small 3/16 1/4-inch or 4/6-meter cylindrical projection on the brake rotor and a matching recess on the backside of the wheel. The reason for this thing is so you can lift up the tire and get it to mate with the brake rotor, then just rotate the wheel until the holes in the wheel line up with the threaded holes in the brake rotor, so you can insert the lug bolts while being able to keep the wheel roughly in place with one hand. If the wheel has not been removed for years, these two surfaces can seize, so that even after you remove the lug bolts, you still can't get the wheel off. So essentially, you need to hit the wheel rim with a big thumper to break it loose. I don't mean to be sexist in any way, but speaking as a parent myself, it is critical that young ladies learn how to do this, and not just young men. Roadside assistance services are not always available, and unfortunately, not everyone who stops to help is an actual Good Samaritan. A few more general tips, as I have had super bad luck with the sheer volume of flat tires I've had to fix.